Hey Frag fam, Corbin here from Northwest Scent. Today I'm going to be talking about 9 awesome winter fragrances that I'm looking forward to wearing this winter. We're already about a month into winter. Some of these I've already worn, some of them I have not. But in general, you can bet that these are the ones that I'm going to be reaching for most this winter 2021. So if that sounds interesting to you guys, please stay tuned. But first, let's roll that intro. So like I said, 9 awesome winter fragrances. Some of these would work in fall as well and early spring. These aren't super dark, dank, only wintertime scents necessarily. Some of them are, but not all. But these are definitely the ones that here in the cold weather, I'm gonna reach for the most. Also, if the perspective looks a little bit off, I've gotten a shorter tripod for my camera, so I had to lower my seat a little bit. So please let me know if the perspective is weird and I can try and adjust and move things around, but I'm just trying this set up for this video. But with all that out of the way, we're gonna kick it right off with number 9, and that is Dior Homme Parfum. I know you guys have all heard of this already. This is an awesome fragrance. By the way, just as clarification, this isn't really a 9 to 1 like rank list. These aren't like worst to best. These are just the 9 that I'm gonna be reaching for the most. However, I did put this one at number 9 just because it is a lot harder to find now, especially here in North America. I know in Europe still they have the 100 milliliter size bottles, so you guys have access to that, which is fine. But over here, these are really hard to find. Luckily, I scored this about a year ago when they were still really affordable, and I was able to pick up a backup bottle at the same time because it was that good and I knew I needed more. As far as this fragrance goes, iris, leather, oud, rose, those are the 4 most prominent notes. It's not very rosy. The iris is definitely prominent, just like with all the Dior Hommes, but what you really get from this one is that oud and that leather. This is like a bad boy in a leather jacket kind of fragrance. It's super classy as well. I couldn't imagine anybody wearing this in like gym clothes, for example. If it's wintertime and you're going to a nice formal event and you need something to stand out and make a statement with, this is the fragrance to do it. If you guys have not tried this, try and find a sample or try and hunt down one of those 100 milliliter size bottles. I know, like I said, they're not available here in North America, but you should be able to have them shipped over, at least maybe after COVID's over. I know shipping's kind of weird right now, but I'm telling you, if you can get your hands on this, 100% do it. This is one of my favorite fragrances in my entire collection. Also, I've seen people debating on the 100 milliliters if it's been reformulated or not. I've talked to a few people here in North America that got their hands on a 100 milliliter size bottle, and they said to their nose there's no difference. So I'm just kind of rolling with that. It's the same juice, and get it if you can because this stuff is awesome. So again, number 9 spot was Dior Homme Parfum. The fragrance at the number 8 spot is one that I would call a bad boy in a leather jacket kind of fragrance as well. If Dior Homme Parfum is the grown-up version of that, this is the younger version. This one does not smell like Dior Homme Parfum. I'm not saying that. This doesn't have iris. It doesn't have that lipsticky vibe, but it does have similar notes, and it gives a very similar vibe, and I think can be worn in similar situations. And the fragrance I'm referring to is SonyATV Nuit d'ici Pulse of the Night. Yeah, this one's just awesome, guys. So this has frankincense, tonka, amber, and leather. So you get that leather similarity, but this one is a lot sweeter. Yeah, every time I wear this one, it just makes me smile. It's super hard to find. I know last year when it first got hyped up, I immediately started looking for a bottle, and it took me, I want to say 2 or 3 months to finally find one pop up on a discounter. I'm telling you though, I know the Nuit d'ici line is not the most popular. Noir Argent is okay. None of the rest really get any love. This one does get a lot of love, and it deserves it. I just can't say enough good things about this one. I've only worn it once so far, and I haven't really been able to wear it much at all just because I picked it up at the end of winter last year, and it was too hot at that point to really pull it out. But you can definitely bet I'm gonna be reaching for this one a ton this winter. So again, number 8 spot was SonyATV Nuit d'ici Pulse of the Night. The number 7 spot is a Middle Eastern exclusive flanker to a really popular date night scent and winter scent. There's 2 exclusives in this line, and this is actually the one that gets talked about less. However, I think it's definitely an awesome fragrance. which is why it's in this list, and I think it deserves a lot more love. And the fragrance I'm referring to is Dolce Gabbana, The One Mysterious Night. So this one, it has oud, rose, amber, and saffron. So you can just tell from those notes, it is definitely kind of Middle Eastern themed, and you can immediately tell from the smell that, you know, that's what they were going for. This will not appeal to a ton of people. It's not mass appealing like the original, The One. You have to kind of be in the mood for this and kind of enjoy this style of fragrance. This one, honestly though, for me, I have smelled a fair amount of oud rose combos, and I know that's really outdone and overplayed at this point, but this is honestly the best one I've smelled. I prefer this to any of the MFK oud fragrances I've tried, even Oud Satin Mood, and a lot of those use that oud rose combo. I've had Mancera Oud Exclusive, which is similar as well, I believe, if I remember correctly, oud rose, but this is the one that I just enjoy the most. It's fairly synthetic, you know, you can buy it for pretty cheap. I think I got this one for $45, and this is a 100 milliliter size bottle. So you're definitely gonna get no real oud in a fragrance that cheap, but it still does smell really good, and it lasts a long time. I've only worn it once so far, but I got about 9-10 hours out of it. And I mean, that absolutely blows the original, The One, out of the park. We all know that one doesn't perform very well. If you guys have not tried this one, it's definitely not blind buy worthy, I would say, but you can get a sample. And if you decide maybe you just do want to buy a bottle, I mean, like I said, I only got it for $45. I will link it down below where I purchased it. It was through eBay, but it was through an A+ seller, very reliable. So if you guys are interested, I will include that down below. But again, number 7 spot was Dolce & Gabbana, The One Mysterious Night. Also, shout out to Ross at TLTG Reviews. He's the reason I picked up The One Mysterious Night. The fragrance at the number 6 spot is one that I covered in my first video on this channel. It was a review, which I will link right there. But yeah, I talked about this. This is a fragrance that I've had since 2014. It's been my signature scent basically since then. More so back about 2014 through 2018. I wore this thing constantly throughout the winter. I wore it to work in college when I was a bouncer. It got me a lot of positive attention in general. And it's just an awesome fragrance that will always have a special place in my heart. This is my second bottle that I've had, and it's the only fragrance where I've actually ever gone through a complete bottle. So the fragrance I'm referring to is Comme des Garçons Black. So this fragrance is just awesome. Like I said, you know, it does have a special place in my heart, so I'm a little biased to it, but I think it's an amazing scent, and nobody seems to really talk about this. I haven't seen any other reviewers really go over it, and it just kind of fits the mood of winter really well. It's quite mysterious, has notes of frankincense, black pepper, licorice, and cedar, among others of course, but those are the most prominent 4 notes. It starts off really, really smoky, like one of the smokiest fragrances I've ever smelled, but after about 30 minutes, an hour, that definitely dies down a little bit, and it gets a lot smoother. It has that licorice there to kind of provide a supporting sweetness with a little bit of like balsamic resinous. It's very woody from the cedar, like in the far dry down. This smells like a pine tree, basically, like a fresh cut pine tree, you know, pine sap, just super woody and green. I actually discovered this fragrance when I was walking in downtown and I passed a stranger who was wearing it, and I had to ask him what it was, and then I went out and got my bottle. So it's that good in my opinion, an amazing scent. Like I said, if you want to see the full review on it, check out that video I linked before. So again, the number 6 spot was Comme des Garçons Black. The fragrance at the number 5 spot needs no introduction. This one gets a ton of hype in the fragrance community, and for good reason. I think all of the hype is absolutely deserved. This one is a masterpiece in my opinion. When I smell it, it just kind of puts me in this confident, mature mindset. When I smell it, I think of like an older, sophisticated gentleman who's at a bar, he's sipping on some whiskey or some cognac, he's dressed nice, he's smoking a cigar, he smells great, and he knows he does. So the fragrance I'm referring to is Roja Dove's Enigma / Creation E. Yeah, so there's nothing I can say about this one that really hasn't already been said. When I smell this, it just puts me in an awesome mood. I love wearing this thing. It just has this fizzy, resinous, kind of smoky, sweet quality to it. It's blended amazingly. You know, it has notes of cognac, tobacco, vanilla, benzoin, among probably 30 other notes. Roja Dove's known for putting a lot of fragrance notes in his fragrances, and he blends them really well. So it's really hard to pick out individual notes here and there. But this one's just awesome. If you have not tried this fragrance yet, I would 100% recommend getting a sample. Of all the fragrances on this list, this is the one that I would be most confident in the majority of people enjoying. It's that good. It's super expensive though, so I would definitely recommend getting a sample first, just in case you're in that minority that doesn't enjoy it. Then you didn't blow a bunch of money for nothing. So again, the number 5 spot was Roja Dove's Creation E / Enigma. The fragrance at the number 4 spot is a modern flanker to an 80s powerhouse OG. The original version of this fragrance is known as kind of having like this petrol or gasoline smell. So I'm sure you guys know which fragrance line I'm talking about now. And the flanker I'm referring to is Dior Fahrenheit Le Parfum. So this one still has the violet leaf from the original. You know, that's kind of the gold standard for the line. That's what it's known for. However, this one also has suede, rum, and vanilla, among other fragrance notes. So it comes across a lot sweeter, a lot more playful, I would say a lot more mass appealing. And then definitely that petrol smell has been toned back quite a bit. Now, usually the Parfum version of a fragrance is known as being, you know, more grown up, more mature, more refined maybe. I think this one's actually kind of the inverse or the opposite, where the EDT is the more mature version, and I think this one's like the younger, more playful version. If you didn't like the original, there's a good chance you might even like this one still. The petrol smell is there, but it, like I said, it's really toned down. This one, I get great performance out of. I mean, it is a Parfum, so that's to be expected. But I get pretty good sillage out of this one as well. It doesn't just last a long time. It actually jumps off my skin pretty well too. And yeah, I just can't say enough good things about this one. Dior does an amazing job with their Parfum fragrances, it seems. This one can be a little bit harder to find. Here in the US, I know Dior basically nixed all of the flankers in the Dior Fahrenheit line, so they just kept the original EDT. But you can still find these being sold in the Facebook fragrance groups. I've seen them on discounters pretty recently as well, so I know you can still find them. So if you can find this one and you want to check it out, I would definitely recommend trying it at least. I think this is the best flanker in the whole line, and I just can't say enough good things about it. So again, the number 4 spot was Dior Fahrenheit Le Parfum. The fragrance at the number 3 spot just came out a few months ago, and as soon as it hit the department store shelves, it immediately caught a ton of hype. As soon as I checked it out, I knew I needed to get a full bottle. I started off with a little sample, and I knew I had to graduate to the full bottle. This is the only fragrance I have from this house, but after smelling this one, it's made me want to dive into this house a lot more. And the fragrance I'm referring to is by Kilian Angel Share. So if there was ever a fragrance that smelled like an apple pie, this is it. Hugo Boss bottled definitely has that apple pie kind of feeling to it, but it's a lot fresher. Parfum de Marly Wajon, that one does smell like an apple pie as well. I think this one's even closer though. If you want to smell like you just came out of a pie bakery, this is the fragrance to do it. This thing just smells so edible. When you spray it on, you literally want to lick your skin. I wore it today as my scent of the day, and it keeps projecting. It's probably past 11 hours now, and I still am catching wafts of it as I'm moving around, you know, filming this video. This thing's an absolute beast. It only comes in this 50 milliliter size bottle, which is small, definitely, but for how strong this is, this bottle will probably last me forever. You only need a few sprays. And like I said, this is just a gourmand lover's dream. If you're looking for something sweet, seductive, spicy, resinous, this is it. And this is a great introduction to by Kilian, in my opinion. So again, the number 3 spot was by Kilian's Angel Share. The fragrance at the number 2 spot is a flanker from a niche house. The original version of this fragrance is not known for being the easiest to wear fragrance. However, they've changed that a little bit with this flanker, so now it's just a tad bit more easy to wear. And the fragrance I'm referring to, it's from Amouage, and it is Interlude Black Iris. So, in my opinion, this one is a true flanker. Sometimes you'll see where they add an EDP version, or just, you know, a random flanker, for example. And they change the DNA around quite a bit, and it's really hard to recognize the original. But this one, you can instantly tell it's Interlude. They've just made it more wearable. You know, it has frankincense, oud, amber from the original. However, they also added orris root, which is the main stage player in this fragrance. It's called Black Iris. That's the note they kind of want you to focus on. And it's definitely been an improvement in my opinion. If you did not like the original Interlude, I don't think this one will be much more enjoyable for you. But if you were kind of somewhere in the middle and couldn't really decide, I think you will maybe enjoy this one more. Like I said, it's just a little bit easier to wear. This one's still very daring, it's still very loud, and it's still very classy. So you'll still have to dress up for this one if you want to play to its strengths, but it's just a little bit easier to pull off. As far as performance goes, this one is still just as loud as the original. I get 10+ hours easy with about 5 to 6 hours of pretty good projection. So no joke, this one you definitely have to watch your sprays, but it is an absolutely awesome fragrance if you use it correctly. So again, number 2 spot was Interlude Black Iris from Amouage. The fragrance in the number 1 spot is a total sleeper from this house in my opinion. I don't see many people mention it or talk about it at all. It pops up here and there every now and again, but it just epitomizes this time of year for me. I have lots of good fond memories with it, and in my opinion, it is the best fragrance, or at least tied for the best fragrance from this house. And the fragrance I'm talking about, it's from Parfums de Marly, and it's called Hobdon. So, yeah, man, I love this stuff. So, this one has frankincense, green apple, woody notes, caramel, among other notes, but those are the prominent ones. And to me, when I smell this, I just kind of get this idea of like a caramel apple, you know, freshly dipped, and then you get this fresh cut wood that's just sitting nearby, kind of wafting through the air, and you're just eating this caramel apple, and it just smells amazing. You know, that's the best descriptor I have for it. You know, like I said, I have so many good fond memories with this one too from fall time, so that definitely helps. But it's just honestly a really unique scent. I know sometimes Parfums de Marly kind of catches some flack for kind of being a clone house, but there's nothing else out there really that I've smelled quite like this. It's not really that spicy, so it doesn't smell like an apple pie like Wajan, for example. It's really kind of its own thing. I just think it's an amazing fragrance, and it's definitely worth checking out. If you haven't tried this one, this is another fragrance where I would recommend getting a sample. I think this is, like I said, one of the best from the house, and I just can't say enough good things about it. So at the number 1 spot, it was Parfums de Marly Hobdon. Well, there it is, 9 awesome wintertime fragrances I'm looking forward to wearing this winter 2021. We're coming up on 100 subscribers a lot more quickly than I expected, and because of that, I want to show my appreciation to you guys. So what I'm going to do is a giveaway. So the winner of this giveaway will receive 10 1 milliliter samples of various niche decants, and how to enter is first watch this video, obviously, so you guys are already on top of that. Next step would be to like the video, then comment down below Northwest I'm in, and then make sure you're subscribed. You have to meet all of that criteria in order to be picked. I'll come back to this video once I've hit 100 subscribers, and I will pick a random comment that meets all of those criteria. So again, like, comment Northwest I'm in, make sure you're subscribed, and that's it. Thank you guys a ton. You mean a lot to me. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and smell great.